Ever catch yourself, like, daydreaming about money working for you instead of you grinding away for it?
Oh, absolutely. It's like the ultimate fantasy, right?
Totally. And today we're diving deep into a book that really tackles this idea head on, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
A classic for sure. It sparked so many conversations about wealth building.
It really has. And just a quick reminder before we get started, this deep dive is all about exploring Kiyosaki's ideas, not giving financial advice. We're not financial experts here, so always consult a professional before making any big money decisions.
Couldn't agree more. It's about empowering yourself with knowledge, but always good to get personalized advice too.
For sure. Now, if you find this deep dive insightful, hit that like button and subscribe for more. So Kiyosaki, right off the bat, he makes you question everything you thought you knew about wealth. Like, he starts with his own upbringing, talking about having two father figures, his biological dad, the poor dad, and then his friend's dad, the rich dad.
It's brilliant, actually, using those contrasting figures to illustrate how different mindsets towards money can play out in real life.
It's such a powerful framework. So poor dad, he represents that kind of traditional path, right? Get a good education, find a secure job, work hard, earn a good living.
Right, the classic model so many of us are raised with makes sense on the surface for sure.
Totally. But then you have rich dad who completely flips the script. He wasn't about chasing those paychecks. He was all about building assets, things that put money in your pocket even while you sleep.
Passive income, that's the dream, right? And Kiyosaki really hammers home the idea that the rich don't work for money, they make their money work for them.
Okay, so let's break down this whole asset versus liability thing, because
Ooh.
Kiyosaki, he doesn't see it quite the way most people do. Like, he famously says a house, which most consider an asset, is actually a liability.
Yeah, it's one of those things that really makes you stop and think. Most people see their house as this appreciating asset, right?
Yeah.
Building equity.
Right. It's like the American dream.
Yeah. But Kiyosaki, he argues it's often a liability because in many cases it's a money pit. Mortgage payments, property taxes, maintenance, it all adds up. He wants us to really think about where our money is flowing and why.
That's such a simple but powerful shift in perspective. It's not just about what you own, it's about what's working for you financially.
Exactly. He even uses McDonald's as an example. He says Rich Dad saw McDonald's not just as a fast food chain, but as this real estate empire in disguise.
Whoa. I never thought of it that way.
It's about training yourself to see those underlying systems that are actually generating wealth.
Seeing opportunities where others might just see, I don't know, a burger and fries. He wants us to be more than just consumers.
Yeah, totally. And a big part of that is understanding how money actually works, which he calls financial literacy.
Right, and he's pretty critical of traditional education, saying it doesn't do enough to prepare us for the real world of money.
He really thinks it should be a core subject like math or science.
So what does he suggest we focus on instead? What's the alternative?
He breaks it down into 4 key areas: accounting, investing, understanding markets, and law.
Whoa, that's a lot.
It sounds daunting, but he believes mastering these areas, at least on a basic level, is what truly empowers you to make smart financial decisions.
So it's about taking control, right? Not just blindly following advice or relying on luck.
Exactly. You want to be the captain of your own financial ship.
Love that analogy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great place to pause for this part of our deep dive. We've set the stage with Kiyosaki's core principles, and next, we'll really dig into those 4 areas of financial literacy he emphasizes.
Looking forward to it. There's so much to unpack there.
So last time we were talking about minding your own business, and it's not like literally just starting a business, right?
Right. It's way more than that.
It is.
It's about building that asset column, remember?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Rental properties, maybe diving into stocks, creating something you can get royalties from, like a book or a course.
Oh, interesting.
It's about having your money make money for you, even while you're off.
Living your life.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love that Kiyosaki actually built his own asset column while working a regular job.
Yep.
Shows you don't have to be born into wealth to make this happen.
Absolutely not. And you don't have to quit your job tomorrow and be like, I'm an entrepreneur now.
Right.
You can build it alongside.
Yeah. Start where you are.
Exactly.
But it's not always easy though, right?
Oh, no.
Changing your financial habits and all that.
Oh, it's a journey. And he talks about these 4 major roadblocks that people come up against.
Yeah. What are those again?
Fear,
Okay.
cynicism, laziness,
Mm-hmm.
and then, those bad habits we all have?
Oh, tell me about it.
They can really trip you up.
So how do we actually tackle those? What does he say to do about those roadblocks?
Well, he's got some interesting strategies for sure. For fear, it's all about reframing your thinking.
Okay.
So instead of saying, "Oh, I can't afford that investment property," he challenges you to ask, "How can I afford it?"
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
You see the difference.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a total mind shift.
Totally. It
Yeah.
forces you to look for solutions instead of getting stuck in that fear-based mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then for cynicism, which often comes from, doubt, negativity,
Hmm.
he's got this great quote. He says, "Cynics criticize, winners analyze."
Cool. I like that.
Don't let those doubts paralyze you.
Right.
Analyze the situation, do your research, see if you can make it work.
Yeah. Be proactive about it.
Exactly. Now, laziness, he doesn't sugarcoat it.
Okay.
He says you got to find that greed, but not in a bad way.
Not like,
Not like I want to hoard all the money in the world.
Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, exactly. He's talking about like harnessing that desire for a better life.
Oh, okay.
Use that as fuel to get things done.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good spin on it.
Right. It's all about perspective.
So ambition, I guess.
There you go. And then finally, those bad habits, right? We all have them.
Oh, yeah.
He really emphasizes paying yourself first.
See, that's one I always struggled with. What's his reasoning behind that?
So Kiyosaki says most people, right, they pay everyone else first, bills, rent, entertainment, and then whatever's left goes into savings, if there's anything.
Yeah.
He flips that. He's like, no, treat your savings and investing like a non-negotiable expense.
I'll put it at the top of the list.
Exactly. Make it a habit, not just an afterthought.
Yeah. Prioritize your future self.
Exactly. And speaking of habits, he also stresses investing in your financial education.
Oh, interesting.
Read books, take courses, find mentors, never stop learning.
It's not just like a one-time thing.
No, it's ongoing. It's a journey.
Right. You don't just read Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Yeah.
and then you're set for life.
Right, exactly. You got to keep that momentum going.
Now, we've talked a lot about building assets in general, but what are some of the specific types of assets that Kiyosaki actually recommends looking into?
He talks about a few different categories.
Okay.
Businesses that don't require your constant attention, those are big for him.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
Like rental properties, online businesses,
Oh,
even something as simple as like vending machines.
Interesting.
It's about creating those passive income streams, remember?
Yeah, the money's just coming in
Exactly.
while you're living your life.
Yeah.
What about something a little more, I don't know, traditional, like stocks and bonds? Is that part of his strategy too?
Oh, absolutely. He's all about paper assets too, stocks, bonds, that sort of thing. They
Right.
can be, a bit more volatile than something like real estate,
Right, yeah.
but the potential for growth is huge if you know what you're doing.
And that's where that whole understanding markets thing comes in, right?
Exactly. Knowledge is power, whether it's real estate or the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
Do your research, understand the risks,
Right.
and make those informed decisions.
Don't just like chase the latest hot stock tip you heard.
No.
You got to look under the hood, understand the company, the
Exactly.
financials, all of that.
Be an educated investor, not a gambler.
Right, right, exactly. Now, remember those roadblocks we were talking about? The fear, the cynicism,
Oh, yeah.
laziness, bad habits.
They can really trip you up.
He has specific strategies for each of those.
He does.
For fear, he says, to reframe your thinking.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on like, oh, what if I lose money?
Right.
It's what if I gain something? What if I succeed?
Oh, I like that.
Shift that perspective.
Well, it's powerful, right?
Yeah.
And education is a huge part of combating that fear.
Okay.
The more you understand, the less scary it all seems,
That makes sense.
For dealing with cynicism, he's a big believer in surrounding yourself with positive influences.
Oh, okay. So your environment matters.
Big time. If you're hanging out with a bunch of naysayers, it's tough to stay motivated.
Yeah, you're going to absorb that energy.
Exactly. So surround yourself with people who support you, who believe in you.
Who challenge you to grow too, right?
Absolutely. Now, laziness, that's a tough one for a lot of us, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a constant battle.
He says you got to find your why. Like, what's your purpose? What are you working towards? Let that be your motivator.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He also talks about setting clear goals,
Oh,
breaking them down into smaller, more manageable steps.
So it feels less overwhelming.
Exactly. And then for those bad habits, it's all about, identifying them, replacing them with positive ones.
Build those good
It's
habits.
a process, for sure.
One step at a time.
Exactly.
One of the things I appreciate about Kiyosaki is that it's not just about, like, hoarding wealth.
No, not at all.
He's big on giving back, right?
Huge. He talks about how the more you give, the more you receive.
Okay.
But it's not about giving with the expectation of getting something back, It's about generosity coming from a place of abundance.
It's about using your success to make a difference.
Exactly.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. We really dove deep into Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
We did.
explored Kiyosaki's core principles, even challenged some of our own beliefs about wealth along the way.
It's always good to question those assumptions, right?
Absolutely. So, to everyone listening, what resonated with you from Rich Dad, Poor Dad? What are some actionable steps you're thinking about taking? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you found this deep dive insightful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.